We are going to have story time, part 3 today, and we are going to start out by reading Cinderella, the Lost Mice. One clear winter night, the prince led Cinderella out to the balcony. "I have a surprise for you," he said, handing her a box. Inside was a beautiful new coat. "Oh, it's simply lovely," Cinderella exclaimed. "Thank you." It was a pretty and thoughtful gift. The coat would keep her warm during the cold weather. The next morning, the princess showed her coat to Susie, one of her mouse friends. "Isn't the prince thoughtful?" Cinderella remarked. "Nicey, nicey," Susie exclaimed. The coat's sleeve felt warm and cozy, especially compared to where the mice lived. A few minutes later, Jack and Gus went into Cinderella's room. It had been a chilly night in the attic, and the mice were still shivering. "Cinderella, Cinderella," Jack called. He knew that if he told the princess how cold the attic was, she would do something about it. But she was rushing off to get dressed for a tea party, so she didn't hear her friends. Jack sighed. He was too cold for the mice to stay in the attic much longer. Cinderella had always been very kind to the mice, and Jack was sure she would want them to be warm, so he and Gus called the rest of the mice down from the attic. They sat in front of the blazing fire in Cinderella's room. Before long, their cold paws and tails had warmed up, and their teeth stopped chattering. They waited there until Cinderella got back. Soon, the new housekeeper came in to clean the room. When she saw the mice, she shrieked and she said, "Oh my gosh," and she tried to shoo them away. "Mice don't belong in the castle," she yelled. "Now get out." The housekeeper didn't know that the mice were Cinderella's friends. She chased them with a broom. The frightened mice had no choice but to scramble back up to the cold attic. "Brr," Gus began to shiver as soon as the mice were safely upstairs. The mice really needed the princess's help, but how would they be able to speak to Cinderella when they were afraid to set foot downstairs? Wham! Suddenly, the castle gardener barged through the attic door. Before the mice knew what was happening, he had trapped them. "Now, take them outside," they heard the housekeeper say. "Take them far away so they never return." Meanwhile, Cinderella's tea party had ended, and she and the prince were out riding. As their horses trotted through the countryside, they saw the castle gardener sending to something in one of the fields. "Hello," the prince called out. "I'm much too cold to be working outside." But the gardener did not answer. The prince called to him again, and still got no reply. As they rode on, the prince turned to Cinderella. "That was odd," he said. "I can't believe he did not hear me. Why wouldn't he answer?" "Perhaps he was lost in thought," Cinderella replied. Cinderella was right. The gardener had been trying to make a decision. He was about to let the mice go, as the housekeeper had ordered, but he was worried about them. He knew it was too cold outside. Finally, he decided to take the mice to the stable. "Now, don't tell the housekeeper," he told the stable workers. "But these poor mice need a warm place to stay and a bit to eat." The mice were very grateful to their new friend. The mice nestled together in the barn, but as night approached, the stable got colder. Luckily, the horses were very friendly. They told the mice to snuggle in their mane to keep warm. "That's very nice," said Gus as he drifted off to sleep. Later that night, back at the castle, Cinderella was starting to worry. She hadn't seen the mice since the morning. Jack and Gus nearly always came by in the evening. Cinderella was searching for the mice when she ran into the prince. "Why, hello," the prince said. "Are you looking for something? Are you looking for the same person that I am?" "Why, no, I don't think so," Cinderella replied. "I'm looking for the mice." "Ah," said the prince. "Well, I'm looking for our new housekeeper. Apparently she threw the mice out of the castle today." "Oh, no," Cinderella cried. "Poor dears, they'll be freezing outside." "Don't worry," the prince said. "The mice have found a new friend." He told Cinderella about what the gardener had done. Together, Cinderella and the prince went to the stable. They thanked the gardener and the stable workers. Then they gently woke the mice. Cinderella, Cinderella, the mice shouted happily. Cinderella was relieved to see her little friends safe and sound. Though the stable had been nice, the mice were glad to return to the castle. From then on, Cinderella made sure the mice always had a warm place of their own in one of the main rooms of the castle. And that is the end of the story. The next one is called The Little Mermaid, a Special Song. May I have your attention, please? Sebastian called. The crab tapped his baton on the podium. King Triton's birthday was in a couple of days, and the court musicians were planning a special performance. Triton's daughter, Ariel, would sing while the orchestra played a brand new tune. Sebastian wanted the concert to be spectacular, but they had a lot of work to do. The crab raised his baton, and the musician began to play beautiful music, filling the sea until clang. Who did that? Sebastian demanded. I did, a young mermaid named Coral replied quietly. The best way to play the cymbals is to hold on to them. Now, if there are no more interruptions, Sebastian said grumpily, we shall continue. They rehearsed and rehearsed, but it went from bad to worse. Coral dropped her cymbals a second time. Clang! Then she tripped and landed on top of a kettle drum, and Ariel watched. Sebastian threw down his baton. Rehearsal is over, the crab yelled and stormed off. Ariel helped Coral up. Don't mind, Sebastian. I'll never be able to get this song right, let alone perfect, Coral said sadly. Don't worry about it, Ariel said. The only thing I'm perfect at is making Sebastian mad. You should have seen his face the last time I went to the surface. You've been to the surface? Coral asked, amazed. You must be the bravest mermaid ever. It's just something I like to do, Ariel said. I'm always gathering treasures. Would you like to see my collection? I'd love to, Coral exclaimed. The two mermaids swam to Ariel's grotto. Make yourself at home, Ariel told Coral. When they arrived, Flounder the fish was there. He waved a fin at them. The young mermaid swam around, exclaiming an joyous occasion, examining jewelry and shiny trinkets. Where did you find all of this? Coral asked as she put on a strand of pearls. I found some of it in the sunken ship, Ariel replied. You've been inside a sunken ship, Coral said with a gasp. Weren't you scared? Of course not. Were you, Flounder? Ariel teased. Nothing to it, the fish fibbed. So what are you waiting for? Ariel asked. Let's go. Coral and Flounder trailed behind Ariel. Soon they arrived at a ship that had sunk into the ocean floor. Let's see what's in there, Ariel argued. Her friends followed her through a large portal. Inside the ship, Ariel found an old steamer trunk. Look at this, she cried, holding up a purple parasol. And this, Coral exclaimed, picking up a fancy lampshade. I wonder what it's for. My friend Scuttle can tell us, Ariel said. Follow me. Where are we going? Coral asked Flounder. To the surface, he replied, matter-of-factly. Soon the friends arrived at the surface. Scuttle, the seagull, examined the treasure. This is a twirl-a-bob, he said, looking at Coral's lampshade. It's what humans, ladies, wear when they're going somewhere important. Before long, the friends had to leave. As they headed home, Coral asked Ariel if she could keep the twirl-a-bob out of the grotto. It might get broken at home, she explained. Of course, Ariel agreed. The grotto is my secret place, and it can be yours too. A few days later, as Ariel swam toward the grotto, she heard someone singing. The voice was strong and clear, but sweet too. When Ariel arrived, she saw her new friend. Coral, I didn't know you had such a lovely voice. You should be singing in the concert, not playing the cymbals. The little blonde mermaid shrugged. I just like singing to myself, she exclaimed. I've never actually performed. The next day at rehearsal, Sebastian made Ariel and the orchestra practice over and over, but something always seemed to go wrong. The big day is tomorrow, the crab said, flustered. This orchestra and concert needs to have a lift. What are we going to do? We need to get this right for the king. You know, we have to get it exact. Let's try it again. So they did. The rehearsal went on and on. By the end of the afternoon, everyone was tired. See you tomorrow, Ariel said. Her voice was raspy. On the day of the concert, Ariel could only whisper. She had lost her voice. Luckily, she knew who could take her place. Me, Coral said, when the princess asked her. But I can't. You must, Sebastian insisted. Otherwise, King Triton's birthday celebration will be ruined. I can't sing in front of a crowd of mer people, Coral said, pleading. Sure you can, Flounder said. Coral thought about how she had visited a sunken ship and gone to the surface, things she had never thought she could do, all because of Ariel. Now her new friend was coming over to her and counting on her. All right, Coral said slowly, I'll do it. That night when Coral peeked out from the stage, she nearly fainted. The entire kingdom was there, including her parents and her brother and sister. King Triton and Ariel sat in the royal box. When it was time, Coral took a deep breath and swam on stage. As the orchestra started playing, she sang softly, but as it went on, Coral's voice got louder. Before she knew it, the concert was over, and the audience began to clap and cheer. Coral, said Sebastian, smiling, you can give away your cymbals. From now on, you're going to be on the court choir. After that show, Ariel went to congratulate her friend. She found Coral with her family. I didn't know you could sing like that, one of the Coral sisters exclaimed. No one ever would have known if it wasn't for Ariel, replied Coral. She believed in me. Ariel still couldn't speak, but she gave Coral a big hug. It had been a wonderful evening. The end. And that is the end of story time. I hope that you all enjoyed it, and I hope that you all sleep well. Good night.